everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. I'm here today with a journal flip through today, my latest journal that I'm calling Clementine House. So this journal was made with my latest digital kit, palette Clementine, which is available on Etsy, and I can link it down below. If you're seeing this video, it means that this journal is also available, so it will be up on my Etsy. And let's just jump into it. So obviously it's an orange theme. I'm happy to work with a color that I haven't really worked with before, but it's a bright, warm, lovely color, and I think I really love how I discovered, I think, new ways of enjoying it, finding out that I really enjoy this sort of violet gray tone because it was in the roof here of this illustration, and I just, yeah, it was a nice art discovery for me. So this book is 7¼ by 4 3/4. It has 5 signatures. The spine is 1 3/4 inches, and it's 162 pages. So let's talk about the cover first. So this book started with, I made the palette Clementine digital kit. I make digitals for the intention of using them in my journal myself, and it's just a bonus that I also get to share them with the design team and with you guys, and that's awesome. So this book was perfect. So this is a vintage book that was called Margaret Plays the Game by Winifred Darche, and you can see here, hopefully, the embossing of Oxford and this girl who's staring up at a picture, like a bulletin board or a newspaper that is posted. And then here you can see more embossing. It's actually a house with lots of windows, bushes in the front with florals, and then it had Margaret Plays the Game up here, but I didn't want that on the cover. So I cut out specifically to cover it and used this vintage book illustration of this orange house with that violet gray roof. I added it to a piece of acetate to give it a little shine, because it's nice to pick something up and some part of it is different. Added that, and then stitched on these flowers just because I think it just really kind of is inviting as a cover. I used white eyelets to kind of pop on the cover, front and back. The back has an embossed frame. And then on the spine, I've added just a simple dangle of the little violet gray beads and some Chinese lanterns because orange, right? So this book has lace coming out the sides here in each signature, a few little pop-ups up the top, and then a little skirt of lace from a piece of ephemera that is inside the journal. So let's untie this this lovely lace binding here, or tie, I should say, not binding. This book has 5 signatures and a hidden hollow back spine. It is secured at the top though, so it's not doing a lot of arcing. It lays flat. It's very fun. So we open it up, and here are the very sunshiny orange kind of end papers. I've inked them and added a label here and this tag in front. Little collage tag. And we begin with this, orangey golden owl. And this is actually a tip out that has a moth here, a little Monopoly get out of jail free chance card. And then the first page of my kit is there. And then this journal card to kind of start everything. And that just tucks in here. Then we flip over and we have these Buff Beauty orange roses on my background, a little bit of washi tape there to cover stitching that's on the other side, and I just thought it was a nice accent. And then this journal card that's Anne of Green Gables sitting and reading with her lovely ginger hair, and some lace, so that's what sticks out the bottom of the book. Then we have some lovely dyed paper. This was actually dyed by Mary Ellen of Red Parrot, and a little stamp up here. Some fun orange floral paper with lace, and the original first, front page of Margaret Plays the Game, and I added this sunflower. So this book was originally from 1933. And a little pocket here on this kind of fall gilded paper, and this says The Little Details, and it's a little journal card. And then a little sticker here, 45 Oxford Street, and then just some nice orange paper, little tag there. That's from Medieval Mirage, and it's just a little glue down decoration. This is the next page of my kit with this alcohol ink background, both sides, and then you open it up and you can do a flip up and you get the full page from my kit. And you can obviously write in these, you know, fun sections. Black Cat Dance, that's a little ticket there. More of that fun fall paper. I left it alone. You know, I think it's nice to stick little photos on pages like this. And then this is a little collage with this old painting, and it flips open with hand-dyed paper and says, "Found out the secret, a relic of stunning timelessness." It's also a little pocket with one of my painted illustrated flowers back there, and then this little journal tag pops inside. This is from a children's story. It's a really fun kind of fairy image with some orange and yellow in it. And then this is a tag. It says, "Music transcends barriers among people. Slow, soft songs, eyes are sad and misty. Fast songs, eyes are sparkling. Old familiar songs, eyes are dreamy. Witty songs, eyes are laughing. Religious songs, eyes are wistful. When listening to our own music, we are all one." And that is from a beautiful book of verse given to me by Shell of Shell's Creative Chaos. Some stenciling here on this paper. Florals on the back and more of that dyed paper, and the other side of my background. And you see a little yellow envelope top there, which you could, you know, write a little something on, maybe write the date. And some nice, more from that same book, from that verse I just read you, just beautiful colors, citrusy colors in that book. So then the envelope, it does tip up, but before I tip it up, I've actually opened it at the side, and there's a journal card with Vintage Botanicals that goes right on inside of there. So then you can flip it up for more writing space. And then down here we have this little belly band, and this is about the Citrus medica plant. And that is a page from my kit. Actually, both of these are. This whole spread is from my kit. And then this little journal card with this tree. This is from my Journal Together kit from Patreon for this month of August. And then we flip here, and this is a little vintage ad. It says, "Wear celluloid collars and cuffs." And this was from an old Journal Together kit that I did some time ago. This is a background of cracked paint from my kit. And then this is a giant ticket. Also from like my giant tickets kit. And then this is, which is only available I think on Patreon now, it's in the archives. Some dyed paper with lace, also dyed by Mary Ellen of Red Parrot. And this is a little tuck spot here with this hand writing on a vintage postcard. That's also from one of my Journal Together kits on Patreon. Some fun lines there. And then this is a piece of 49 in Market stationery paper. Just a really fun add-in. This lovely illustration, this girl at the gate, and this says, "A flower in a letter. My lonely chamber next the sea is full of many flowers set free. By summer's earliest duty, dear friends upon the garden walk might stop amid their fondest talk to pull the least in beauty. 1,000 flowers, each seeming one, that learnt by gazing on the sun to counterfeit his shining, within whose leaves the holy dew that falls from heaven has won anew a glory in declining." This is some fun stationery that I have flipped up to be a pocket here. And this has an illustration with these orangey brown tones here. And this is an illustration from my Journal Together kit for August. Then on the other side of the page here, it's on this beautiful marbled paper from thepapertrail.ca. This envelope and this journal card are both from my August Journal Together kit on Patreon. As is this pencil. This is from a vintage children's book about numbers. And then we have this vintage invoice from 1934. Other side of that floral orange paper. And then this little tuck spot here with this sort of church steeple or clock steeple on the marbled paper again. And then this is a paper crane flying in the sky. So those two pieces, the tuck spot and the journal card, are both from my Journal Together kit, as are these numbers and this tag. So I wanted to try to incorporate the things that were like orangey in this journal from this month's Journal Together kit. More of the stationery, and then these lovely lilies here. This beautiful piece of art and a little peach illustration. More hand-dyed and lined papers. And then this is from a vintage cookbook. It's just held on with a rusty paper clip, and it says roast Cornish hens with walnut stuffing. And I just love the illustration of this girl with these chickens in a cage. Like, this was from like a vintage cookbook that was sort of like designed for like new brides, you know, in like the 50s and 60s. I think it was Betty Crocker, but I can't remember. I just held on to the illustration forever because I really loved it. So I finally got to use it. And this is a double spread from my kit. And a background from my kit. And then this is just a little collage tuck spot. And this is from a vintage book. I just liked these orange leaves, both sides. And you can see like the vintage book stamps. It says Sunderland Public School, so it's kind of fun. And it's on orange construction paper. Then we have some mushrooms here, also from my Journal Together kit, and just some fun orangey paper. And this is some avocado dyed baking paper. And then this large journal card is from the August Journal Together kit with some lace there. I just kind of flip it under the lace because it's fun to do so. You don't have to. Just a nice orangey fall tree scene. And this has a flip out of these yellow and green flowers. Some vintage ledger paper with it's dyed yellow and has red lines and numbers. This is a little collaged tab made with like vintage folder. And then this little snippet is from my Journal Together kit. Another page from the palette Clementine and the background. And this tips out, so we have this lovely lady here. Some really fun handmade paper from thepapertrail.ca. Then more vintage dyed ledger, and it has this Haze maple candy ad on it that's from my Journal Together kit. And this little flower fairy illustrated by Cecile Mary Barker, and it's from her, it's the Bird's Foot Trefoil Fairy from Flower Fairies of Summer 1925, and this is a repro from the original 1925. This was printed in 2012 from the estate of Cecily Mary Barker, and it's a real postcard. You could use it as such if you wanted. More fall forest, and this little pig that I drew a long time ago, he's been hanging out in my stash, and he's orange, so I put him in here. He's adorable. And then this is another illustration that I did. I'm collaged on it. It's on some floral paper, and then I've added a page from the Anne of Green Gables journal. I'm so glad my window looks east into the sun rising. It's new every morning, and I feel as if I washed my very soul in that bath of earliest sunshine. One can't stay sad very long in such an interesting world, can one? It's just a beautiful book that I like to use pages from here and there. And another little stamp from the collection I made on Patreon. This one has dandelions on it and a little bit of yellow. I made a bit of a freeform tab for this baking paper, and a little, that's from my Journal Together kit again, a little number label, so is that one. Construction paper. This pocket's from my Journal Together kit. This is tiger lilies and other lilies from a vintage field guide, a journal tag. Another background from my kit, and a page from my kit. And then this is just a lovely butterfly scene. To a daisy, there is a flower, a little flower with silver crest and golden eye, that welcomes every changing hour, the weather's every sky. The prouder beauties of the field in gay but quick succession shine. Race after race their honors yield, they flourish and decline. But this small flower to nature dear, while moons and stars their courses run, enwreaths the cycle of the year, companion of the sun. It smiles upon the lap of May, to sultry August spreads its charm, lights pale October on his way, and twines December's arm. And this is a page from my kit and a background. And then this is more of the baking paper. Little tuck spot here made from images from my kit, and so is this page from my kit with the mushrooms and flowers. Oh no, sorry, that's from my Journal Together kit. These, I shouldn't say that. They're not from Palette Clementine. They're from my Patreon monthly kit. So if you're interested in, whenever I talk about Patreon and Journal Together, I have linked my Patreon down below. I do a monthly Journal Together kit of eclectic things, and it's a lot of fun. Comes out on the 1st of every month. This is from an old book. It's a verse called A Cup of Tea. Nellie made a cup of tea, made and poured it out for me, and above the steaming brew smiled and asked me 1 or 2. Saucily she tossed her head. Make it sweet for me, I said. 2 sweet lumps of sugar fell into that small china well, but I knew the while I drained every drop the cup contained. More than sugar in the tea made the beverage sweet for me. This to her I tried to say in that golden yesterday. Life is like a cup of tea, which time poureth endlessly, brewed by trial's constant heat, needing love to make it sweet. Then I caught her looking up, and I held my dainty cup out to her and bravely said, here is all that lies ahead. Here is all my life to be. Will you make it sweet for me? So a lovely little love poem, and that's a journal card. Some beautiful handmade paper from the papertrail.ca. This is Find Me Under the Stars. So then we have a vintage field guide journal card in there. Just some nice botanical paper and lace. This is one of my rusty carbonized leaf pages. So I've printed maple leaf on there. This is some beautiful paper from Koreatown in Toronto. Handmade beautiful papers. And some orange construction paper. Then over here we have a little pocket collage with some medieval mirage florals, and this little journal card that came from a book. I just really love this image with this girl and her cat and a spider web and a clock in front of this kind of blazing but marbled fireplace. It's really fun. Another Koreatown paper, more of the maple leaf, and a little chickadee here, stamp. Another background from my kit and handmade paper. This is again from my Journal Together kit of these 2 stags, and more of the baking paper and alcohol ink, and another page from my kit. This has another poetry verse on it by James Montgomery. It's actually like the other side of one of the verses, the verse that I read you here, To a Daisy. So it continues over here. I won't read the whole thing. It will make the video longer and longer. You can see some stitching here for a flip out of these feathers. This is a verse called The Gardener by Robert Louis Stevenson. Another page from my kit. And a background from my kit. This is from a floral book. It's from the tulip tree, which is one of my favorite trees. The most beautiful blossoms on the most interesting leaves. It also has this very lovely citrus scent when it's in full bloom, and the trees get enormous. It's just a lovely tree. Then we have this journal card, this girl with these Chinese lanterns. See, it goes together. And she's a fairy, and there's some stitched on fabrics at the top. It's on orange cardstock paper. Over here, the citrus bergamia, some dyed splotched paper. This little light bulb bit is from my Journal Together kit on this. This was from like a Art Nouveau wallpaper book, wallpaper design book. And then this is from a vintage field guide. It's a whole little info card of the stone chat thrushes. Then another page from Palette Clementine, my kit, and the background. This is some lacy dyed paper. And a little pocket here with this little gem seed packet. This is a journal card. So if you hear a ball bouncing upstairs, my kids are playing. This says the sun or the moon, and it's a little dyed, hand-drawn label that was part of last month's Journal Together kit, I think, and I just added the original from having made it right there. And then another rusty carbonized leaf page. Some more florals and lace, another background from palette Clementine, and then the main page. Here you have the information on the plate for the wallpaper panel that this is. And then this little fun journal card. Very pinky orange sky. And more splotchy dyed paper. This is some orange mushrooms on a little song card that I made a pocket from, and a little verse that says, "A soft sea washed around the house, a sea of summer air, and rose and fell the magic planks that sailed without a care. For captain was the butterfly, for helmsman was the bee, and an entire universe for the delighted crew." And that's from a children's book. Let the stars guide you. And then in here, this is from a vintage mammals book of this tiger. It has such a lovely, it's like such an antique illustration. It's just beautiful. I believe it was part of an Audubon collection, the mammal collection. And then another background from my kit, and we end with another page from my kit. And then just simple at the back, I've got my seal, Studioloo, and my signature and the date. So thank you so much for tuning in for this little flip through. This book, as I mentioned, will be available. It heads to my Patreon for first dibs, and then it goes to my Etsy shop. So I've linked my Etsy shop and Patreon and the kit and everything all down below in the description box. Again, have a wonderful day, and thanks for joining me. Bye for now.